Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. And another heavyweight news mashup video today, starting with Daniel Dubois, who's commented on his upcoming fight August the 29th with Erik Pheifer. And that's going to double as a fight ahead of a scheduled one with Joyce, which is set down for October. So should Dubois beat Pheifer, which is expected, he'll meet Joyce later in the year. If that fight card goes ahead in October, it's a bit unclear with the pandemic if it could get postponed again. But of this date in August, he says the delay until October for the fight against Joe has given me more time to get things right, and the Pheifer fight is a bonus. It's a shame that fans can't attend, but I'm not moaning. A lot of fighters aren't going to get work for months. Hopefully Joe does the business on Wallisch and we give fans something to look forward to when we finally meet later in October. It's great to have an outing so I can blow away the cobwebs. When fight night comes, it will have been more than 7 months since my last contest. I never have a layoff that long since I started boxing. I want to deliver a big performance and then it will be all systems go to KO Joe in October. And actually it'll be a bit more than 7 months because he fought in 2019 in December of that year, and if it's the end of August, it's effectively 8 full months, maybe just a shade over, given I think it was December the 19th, 2019. So he continues, through lockdown I haven't stopped training at home with my brother and sister. There was no messing. As soon as we were allowed to go to the gym, I was back with my trainer Martin, and being in a familiar environment makes things more comfortable. Frank Warren told me a while back there might be a chance of a fight on a TV studio show, and when the chance came, I didn't hesitate. Pheifer has come along at relatively short notice, but we have more than enough time to prepare. And just on Joyce and how he will look potentially against his tune-up opponent, which has been confirmed as Wallisch, Daniel Dubois says, it's no concern of mine how he looks in his warm-up. I just have to concentrate on myself and not worry about his performance. And just on Joyce, who's taking on the 20-3 German Wallisch, he says, I can't get Ishmael into the country for this fight because of the coronavirus, but I have Steve Broughton looking after me. After the Wallisch fight, I'm hoping to be able to go to Las Vegas to train with Salas or get him over here to prepare me for Dubois. If we can go to Vegas next month, I will only be in the gym or at the house, so the environment will be enclosed. And of the Wallisch fight, he says it's good to shake off the ring rust, get back in there and actually box. Wallisch is a good boxer. He has a European style with a high guard and comes in throwing punches, body shots and head shots. It's a good hard fight. It wasn't too long ago he was highly ranked, so this is a chance for him to get back in the picture. There is a bit more pressure on with Dubois in October. I just have to avoid injury, make sure I look good against Wallisch, get myself back into the flow of things and go into the Dubois fight in the best shape possible. Heavyweight Jerry Forrest believes he would have beaten Jarrell Miller had they of fought. So speaking to BoxingScene.com, he says, of course, I'm against taking peds, but I still feel I could have beaten him because he's not a better boxer than me. He's going to be able to throw more punches and things of that nature. I completely get that. I just feel in my gut his boxing skills are still stagnant and he doesn't change who he is in the ring. I don't think much of him as a fighter. I mean, he can box a little bit, but to me, a lot of guys are made because of where they are. He was in Gleason's gym training or whatever, and then Salita put him on TV. That's my opinion. They found guys he can beat. That's why I know for a fact I would have smashed him. Honestly, Joey Daweko crushed him. He lost that Joey Daweko fight. And that one there was a draw, just to add there. And he continues, you can't even find that fight online anymore. Oleksandr Usyk, with his promotional company Usyk 17, has announced a fight card in Ukraine on August the 1st, and it's going to feature 3 very talented heavyweight prospects. See here on screen, this is the promotional poster. You have Vladislav Sirenko on the left, Oleksandr Zakhozhyi next to him, and on the far right, Viktor Vykhryst, also known as Viktor Faust. So Sirenko, he has been confirmed to take on Pavel Krylenko. Zakhozhyi will be taking on one Konstantin Dobyshenko, and you also have Viktor Vykhryst, whose opponent is still to be confirmed. And the announcement of this fight card, and see on the right-hand side where it sort of says it's going to be in the Ukraine, it's going to have some fans, yada yada yada, but it also announces that on the undercard program, it's going to feature another heavyweight prospect, Igor Shevadzutskiy, and he was actually on a card recently, so he doesn't have quite the hype of these other guys that I've mentioned, but it's going to be good to see these 4 heavyweight prospects on the card. Viktor Vykhryst is sort of part of that next wave. In the next sort of 4 or 5 years, he's going to make a mark in the division. Vladislav Sirenko and Oleksandr Zakhozhyi, if they are working now with Usyk's promotional company, I think that's a good move, because to me they've been a little bit rudderless in their career. Sirenko in particular sort of almost exclusively too fought in South Africa, which in some respects is not the normal sort of route a prospect would go, but obviously built a bit of a fan base down there. But these guys should get past their opponents. Vladislav Sirenko is a very talented fighter, very good left hook, and he's one of these underrated guys that he only needs some opportunity, and he could prove that he can go a long way in the heavyweight division. Zakhozhyi, he is 6'9", a very athletic fighter who seemingly, like Sirenko, is improving all the time, and you can't teach height. 6'9" with decent boxing skills, and he's a very good mover. There's a lot to like about Zakhozhyi. And Viktor Vykhryst, I have big raps on him as well. Igor Shevadzutskiy, I haven't seen a whole lot of him, but he is sort of a cut or two below in my view compared to these other 3 prospects that I've mentioned. But that is a fight card worth watching on the 1st of August. I really like that one, and I think it'll be good to see these guys back in action. It's one of these things with the lockdown. At least we have been able to see a bit more talent, or the pandemic I should say. There's a bit more young talent that's coming to the fore, maybe getting a bit more shine than they otherwise would, because a lot of the big fights aren't happening right now because there's no crowds. Christopher Lovejoy, who was meant to be fighting down in Mexico, his fight has been cancelled, so he posted to his Instagram, and I'll leave you to read the caption there. But this is about the 5th or 6th fight in the past year that hasn't gone ahead for Lovejoy. So I don't know what's happening, but clearly he's struggling to, for whatever reason, get in fights, and they're sort of falling over either last minute, or he announces a fight and it doesn't end up happening for whatever reason. And the weigh-ins have occurred for 3 heavyweight fights happening in the next 24 hours. 2 of them are in the UK on Frank Warren's first card back. And also you have Marchen Siu. He will be fighting in Poland, currently undefeated. We'll get to him last, but we'll start first with the Frank Warren heavyweight. So 2 fights on that card. The first one, David Adeleye, he will be facing Matt Gordon. And this is Adelaye's 2nd pro fight. Had the first one back in December 2019, and Adeleye, as a young prospect, starting to get a bit of a name behind him, a bit of buzz about him and what he might be able to do in the heavyweight division. Just 23 years old, 6'4.5", for this fight with Matt Gordon, 219.5 pounds. Clearly took care of himself, stayed in shape over the pandemic period. He's ready to go, a ready 219.5 pounds, and Gordon, he was 243.25 pounds. That first fight that he had last year, he was a little bit rushed in his work trying to get the guy out of there. I think Gordon will be stopped by Adeleye inside a round. And actually, the next guy we're going to be talking about, Dorin Krasmaru, he stopped Matt Gordon in his previous fight inside a round. So I'd be expecting something similar in this one for David Adeleye, who I think will be better for the occasion, getting in a little bit of work and sort of bedding himself in as a young pro. He is a guy starting to turn a few heads, and people are getting interested about this guy's career. And the other guy, he's sort of had a bit of buzz and media in the past week or so. This is Dorin Krasmaru. So he is a sparring partner for Daniel Dubois. He's out of the Ukraine, 27 years old, currently 2-0, heading into this fight with Phil Williams. So I really don't know too much about Krasmaru, haven't seen him fight before, but I'll be watching to sort of see, what's this guy all about. Apparently he gives Daniel Dubois very good work in the Peacock gym. So he will be facing Phil Williams, and Krasmaru was 249 and 3/4 pounds, Williams 251 and a half pounds. So it'll be interesting to see him. He's helping fill out this first card back for Frank Warren. So 2 heavyweight fights on the card, so something to look forward to there. And also in Poland, you have Marchen Siu in action, currently 20-0. He'll be facing the unbeaten 6-0 prospect Kamil Bodzic, who also don't know too much about him, but in terms of Marchen Siu, one of the more padded records in the heavyweight division. He is the world number 162, and for a guy with 20 fights on the record, that does speak to the low level of competition so far. But obviously, 29 years old, depending on how he goes in this fight, he's got room for improvement and to build his way to something bigger and better in time. So we'll see how he goes in this. So it's effectively, Siu, do we consider him still some sort of form of prospect or fringe contender? I don't know. But these two guys, both unbeaten, someone's O is going to go. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.